Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. We aren't wearing the same t-shirt, although it does look like we are. Mine's an All Saints one, and Reese's is a Chosen Few one. We didn't talk about this, and we literally just we've been speaking for about 4 seconds. And I was like, I'm just going to press record. Reece was like, "What are we doing?" I was like, "The podcast." So here we are. This is the podcast. We're doing a WNBF show review. It's a little bit delayed, but Reece was away.
Oh,
I had a busy weekend.
WNBF,
We've been busy.
WNBF show, mate. No one's clicking on this video.
100%, mate. People care. And it's not going to be like we're not going to spend an hour and a half talking about the whole show. We're just going to go through like the main bits because I was there. And then you can talk about the INBA worlds, but just be careful what you say, okay?
I'm not gonna say anything bad.
Can't be upsetting people, all right?
Oh, I
You
can.
want
I
to
can say what I want. Power of the people, mate. Free speech.
do you want to
2024.
talk
We're
about
allowed
that
to say anything.
first?
Can do. If you want. There's not a lot to talk about. So Finn, do you want to get up maybe like Jacob's photos? I don't think the INBA posted really anything. No,
Yeah.
actually, UK they posted. I think some of the winners, if I'm not mistaken. Or like some of the shows. I think, if I'm not mistaken, like some of the classes. I'm not entirely sure, but I know they posted the photo of Jacob that someone sent me. Yeah, for people that don't know, me and Jacob were so Jacob Tipper, we were in Amsterdam. It wasn't in like central Amsterdam, it was like 45 minutes. It was in a place called like Putten or Putin. I don't really know. The place itself is actually really nice, but I heard Jacob did a podcast, with Finn McNamara and another dude.
Yeah, cool.
It was like natural muscle. And
Yeah.
when I was programming, yeah, he did that. And I was programming Jacob's training plan this morning. I just whacked it on in the background for like the first 20 minutes. And Jacob was like, show was shit. It was so small. The people were dickheads. Like he didn't say it like that, but that was implied. So yeah, so basically the INBA show, it was a bit of stress the whole day before. Like the show was ran like pretty poorly. And like I think it does happen, mate. Like the same with Josh's, Natural Olympia. Like just the whole process
It
was just
wasn't
a bit
great.
like no, no, and it wasn't awful. It was just like
Yeah.
everything about it. Was just a bit like the tanning. So we got there on the day. It was only an hour flight. So we got there on the Thursday. Jacob was on the Friday. So it was a very small, like with the time frame tanning wise, no, or time frame travel wise, I was like a day will be fine, bro. You're not going to hold water for an hour flight. So it was a case where like we had the whole day Thursday, Jacob was on pro fats. So obviously when you're very lean, back end of a prep pro, you just want the day to be as like smooth as possible. And we went to the tanning venue because his tanning was earlier than his registration time or something like that, or the similar time. And it turned out that he couldn't get a tan until he got a code to say that he's like been authorized where it's not in the same venue. So you had to then go to register. So we were waiting around in the tanning place and they were like, sorry guys, if you've not got a card, you can't get a tan. You've got to go to this venue to check in. But then we've gone to the venue to check in, and like I bought a coach's pass for like 70 quid. Didn't need one, waste of money. They were only selling them on that day. Anybody could go
Yeah, do you remember
backstage.
at
We went
the
there.
Natural Olympia? It was like that. It was like really dodgy about like
Yeah,
coaches' passes, and it was like a big thing. But then we just got let in, and it was never a problem.
I was walking backstage constantly. Like it was
Yeah,
said I
like
didn't have one.
they just weren't bothered.
And it was cash. It was cash only, no money. And it was like, oh, we don't sell them tomorrow. These are things we don't sell. So it's like you're just scamming us. Like it was very strange. And then we got this card, and the worst thing is the venue was set up. So basically, you had everything outside but registration. So you had your tan, you had your photos, and you got this card, and we were about to leave, and then Sanai goes, "Mate, you haven't even registered yet." But the guy was like, "All right, cool, go get your tan." So we could have gone back to get the tan to then have to go and get registered again, but they were closing at 6. So to be traveling into a different country and have registration closing at 6, the emails did not make sense. We were reading them and I said to Jacob, are you being an idiot? Like, have you just not looked through it? And it didn't make any sense at all. So we got the tan eventually, but it was like late. It was like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock when he was supposed to have done it like 5. So that just dragged on. Luckily, Jacob had kind of kept it together. And then the show itself, like the tanning women, Jesus Christ. Did I tell you, Finn? I got elbowed by one of them twice. Did I tell you about that?
No.
I got elbowed twice the following day. So I sat down on one of these benches and I was sending a check-in over to a client. And clearly, I moved a girl's bag who works for Protan, and she grabbed the bag next to me, and just went bang twice in my lap, like in my lap, like my lat and leg. I was like, "The fuck are you doing?" Like it was so weird. So the whole tanning situation was strange. The Jacob won his class. The class was all right. I don't think this photo does actually enough justice to
I
the
was gonna say
guy.
this guy looked
He
pretty lean.
way better. He should have, mate. He should have got second. He was. I thought he was the best out of them all, bar
Yeah,
Jacob. He was just a bit smaller. He was just a bit smaller. That was
yeah,
it. But he was probably like condition wise
yeah. He looked sharp.
fairly similar to Jacob. He just had less muscle. Like
Jacob
really
wasn't
really good
20 pounds
conditioning.
sharper than everyone. No,
No. But Cam definitely was, and I think everyone I spoke to said the exact same thing. Like everyone I spoke to says, "Yeah, Reece." Like, yeah, he
he
was.
definitely
No,
wasn't.
he was. Mate, I still don't get that. It's just because you've never had a client bar Josh who's actually got in legit inside out conditioning, you know?
Mate,
So moving on.
Cam. You
We'll
can't say Cam was legit inside out. I guarantee. Take his shorts off of his glutes all the
mate,
way
for
in.
men,
No, he wasn't as shredded
fair,
as you make it
Cam,
out. He was lean and he looked good.
mate, Finn, what is your agenda against this? Is it are you okay? Is everything at home?
No, I
It's
just find
just
it because you rub people up the wrong way when you're like, oh, he's 15, 20 pounds leaner than everyone. And then I was like, he wasn't.
but he won well, let's be frank, because I don't know why you brought this up because it is a bit irrelevant. He was the most conditioned in the lineup. He won because of conditioning and also his overall package. As a result, the other people should have dieted harder. I don't care.
That's not the
That's the
thing though.
truth.
Like
Like
if you
they
look
should have.
at
So
who came second,
I'm not sure.
I don't think you can say that, oh, they just should have dieted harder. They wouldn't have beat him if they were leaner. It wasn't a case of Cam won just because he was leaner. Like you say, he had a better overall package.
No, I think I think that's understandable if it was like Julian or Jacob or someone like that. But I think Cam's not unbeatable for a junior in the natty realm. Like
No, but
I think
it's
if
not
they
about
were
being
as sharp,
unbeatable. It's about the other people he was against.
yeah, and they were all softer than Cam,
But not by 15, 20 pounds.
which they were. Mate, minimum £10. I'm sorry, I don't. They were definitely a lot softer. Anyway, Finn, I don't know why you bring this up. I've never called you out for stuff that you said about Josh or whatever. That's probably slightly missing the
But I
mark
don't.
because of course you're going to be
I
passing.
only brought. I said it as a joke about you saying this guy against Jacob. That's why I brought it up.
Right. He was equal condition, I thought, to Jacob. Like probably not through the areas of like muscularity, but I thought he looked really good. I was surprised they didn't go for him second, but again, he was a bit smaller. He kept linking arms during the pose down with Jacob, and he tried to do a face to face most muscular, and Jacob like just literally like said no, and I
You
was
say,
like, I'm
Jacob,
so
you're not
proud
allowed
of
to
him.
do that.
Yeah, I'm so proud of him for doing that. And then pretty much Jacob won the class, looked good, probably his best look. He was really, really full, but still had like really, he looked crisp because he was so full. We then were told we were allowed to be in the overall. He was on the overall list, and then basically we got pumped. The whole overall situation was just a bit of a nightmare when it came to like actually like they didn't call us out. It turned out that they changed it apparently on the day according to the UKDFBA people, but I don't really know. And then pretty much Jacob was pumped up, glazed. We stayed around for like 4 hours afterwards. And then he was waiting up in the line. He was like, "Sorry, you're not allowed on. It's only for open classes." And then we spoke to Lee, and Lee really just told us effectively to get on with it and to pretty much piss off, which without looking in the eye, and was just a bit of a dick. So that's that. I don't think I've said anything too wrong there, Finn, have I? He was. I think I'm allowed to say that.
I wasn't there.
Is that past the test?
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. So that. But yeah, so basically that was the situation with Jacob. It is what it is. We were fine. It was just a bit annoying, but there you go. Then the pro show, I will say the guy that won the pro card and the overall, the Italian dude on the left, he looked insane. Like he
Yeah.
looked so good.
And he was like
So good
Leonelli
actually.
coach, I think.
Yeah. So good that Lee said he would have beat you anyway, mate. Get on with it. Lee's exact words. When it came to the overall. So sort of same sort of stuff you say to a 19-year-old. And then the guy that won, Daniel, I think his name is,
Yeah.
the overall. He was, I think, 13 weeks out from his first show.
Mental.
And he pretty much like, mate, it was hilarious. I told you this. He was like tanning, he was tanning dudes backstage. He was tanned, and he was like running around when Ramon was on, taking photos, sprinting around, dabbing up all his boys, tanning wise, who he was with. And like, I was like, this guy's competing, but he was like jumping around, tanning everybody. He was like the main tanner. I was like, what the fuck's happening here? And then literally all of a sudden, the pro show's on, takes his top off, does like 5 press ups and goes up and wins. Like it was like he didn't even pump up. Didn't even see him do anything.
Mental.
I just saw him telling people, and then he went up and won the whole. Yeah.
This is
So this dude,
yeah.
mate, absolutely. The glutes and hamstrings do not like they look so much better in person. He
Yeah.
was stripped. I don't think this is the same show. Yeah, this isn't the same show.
It is. I'm sure it is.
No. The background's no, the background's different, mate. The one before says INBA Italy, doesn't it? Or IBFI, yeah, the one that you showed me. The front
Oh,
of
this
that and the
one's
rear
10th
one.
of June, yeah.
Yeah, that's different. But yeah, freak, absolute freak, like ridiculously good.
Yeah, and then obviously he was against his name's like I don't know his actual name. I know it's Daniel, like here it is, KBK, I think, yeah. I don't know what his actual surname is.
Yeah,
Cubic. Daniel Cubic. Who's really good. Yeah. Very, very good. But yeah, to be fair, it would have been good to go and see like the sort of standard of those top guys. You said Ramon looked good as well.
yeah, mate. He looked like a. My mum FaceTimed me to tell me that my card failed its MOT, and which was great. And Ramon was pumping up to the side of me, and she was like, "How's everyone? Like, how's everyone looking?" And I was like, "Just look at this," and she was like, what the fuck? She was like, he looks sick. Because Ramon just looked like, because obviously
Just
he's
big
like
and
16
bubbly.
weeks out,
Yeah.
but he's like still in good nick. Massive. It was like, I was like, this is stupid. Like, he looked like a joke. Like, if you were to see him at like a PCA show, he'd be in passable condition for a PCA show. He would have been really, really good. And like, it's the cool thing about natural bodybuilding. I don't know why. It's just like, it's a different sort of look. And when you see like top dudes, it's like, fucking hell. It is really, really good
Yeah,
to see.
13 and 16 weeks out, stepping on stage. Ramon is
Yeah.
good, isn't he?
Yeah, mate, he's a joke. Like he came up to me and Jacob, and he like said he knew Jacob, and Jacob was like fanboying, and I was like, that's quite cool because Ramon's like probably like I didn't realize he's only 23, and like he again his
Mental, that, innit?
foundation. When he started pumping, it's like he's an absolute joke. Like he would win 99.9% of junior like PCA shows, like
This is what's cool
untested,
about natural
like
bodybuilding.
without.
Like, you know, we were saying about it the other day at the Conte meetup. We were sort of chatting a little bit about natural bodybuilding. Like, obviously, like he's a. I wouldn't say Ramon's not like a top guy. He's not won like loads and loads of stuff, but he's obviously got a great physique and he's got a good like foundation and a lot of potential. It's like Keefe, for example. Like Keefe's ridiculously good, but like obviously they're the minority, but still like that's what. And it's like Samson is a minority. You know what I mean? Like Hattie's a minority. But
Yeah,
most like enhanced bodybuilders can still look really fucking impressive, even if they're not that
yeah,
great. You know what I mean? Because they're big compared to like natural
yeah,
bodybuilders. But the top guys within natural bodybuilding, like I've always said, like I do find that really, really cool and more impressive. If somebody's like 160 pounds on stage, but they look about 200 pounds, like obviously against whoever they're against, but like just the muscle that they have and like how they can sort of the condition they can get into and how they can present it can make 160 pounds look like 200 plus pounds on stage. Like I think that's very, very cool. And again, when like you're just in everyday clothing, hoodie, etc., like you don't like people wouldn't know that they train when they're in stage condition, then they look like that. Let's say it's like fucking hell. So anyway, on to the WNBF. I won't go through every single reel
yeah.
because we put quite a few up to be fair.
I need to say one thing. There also was a paedophile at the INBA show
You.
who loved. No, it wasn't me actually. And there was another. I was like, wow, mate, another one. What the fuck? No, mate. He started taking photo when Jacob was pumping up. He randomly was like starting taking photos of him, and he just got closer and closer and closer. Came up to Jacob, followed him around for like when he came off, he was like, when I come to the UK, I'm taking photos of you. I'm coming with a professional
So it
camera.
wasn't a
What's your
photographer.
WhatsApp? No, mate, he was dodgy as fuck. Jacob was like, Jacob to his mum was like, he's a paedophile. I was like, what? And his mum was like, okay, let's go. He just followed Jake around after he won. It was so weird. So yeah, that was that.
Right, on to the WNBF. So apologies, guys. Again,
Any
this
paedophiles
is
here?
any paedophiles. Just the
No,
regular ones that are always at the shows. Um, the WNBF
some of the
show. Apologies for not getting this sort of review done as quickly as possible. Like I say, we've been just a little bit busy. Both of us, we've not really spoken much this past week or so. So I was at the WNBF. I had Owen, George, Sonny, and Conran competing. And like I love the WNBF. Like the first show was only like 2 years ago, WNBF UK. Obviously, since the sort of split from the UK AFBA and then they created WNBF UK, it has had its teething issues. Like they're not going to. Steph wouldn't be like, no, it hasn't. Like, of course it has. It's the first few seasons, the first few years as a federation on its own. It's gonna have some issues with certain things that you get better at, like anything that you do. So I know people are like really, getting frustrated about the timings and things. And obviously for the athletes and for the coaches and for the family and the spectators and stuff, it's a bit annoying when the show doesn't start for over an hour when it should have done. So it's supposed to start at 10. I think it started maybe close to 11:30. So obviously it was a bit frustrating, in terms of trying to make sure that everyone was ready on time. And again, family members getting a bit frustrated and the show didn't finish till what, like 9:30 or something. But again, like these things happen. It's not the end of the world. Like one thing that was impressive and that I know that Josh was saying, Josh Croggan, who was obviously a judge, like, would you rather the lighting not be right and the music not work and just get rushed through the day? Or would you actually just wait a little bit? And again, obviously the ideal answer is I'd rather have everything ready on time. And I'm sure in future they'll manage that better and maybe, do trial runs with the light and everything at 7 a.m. that morning instead of like 9:30 or whatever, and it doesn't work. But these are all things that happen within bodybuilding shows. And yeah, it's frustrating, but it is what it is. So it was a bit annoying timings wise. But it still ran well once it started and it was still a very good show. It was just a bit frustrating that it was a little bit delayed. Standout sort of talking points. Again, I'm not going to go through every single class. Standout people. Obviously Owen won the teens and he was really good. I don't know if there's I think this might be his interview. Yeah, Owen Tennant. But have a look. You'll see like photos of Owen. I'm sure he posted one. But Owen, to be fair, that was a really good team class. Gage, this guy that came in second, it was funny. Backstage, he was chatting. He was like, I was like just in and out, making sure Owen was sound and stuff. And he was like, I've been having 5 guys every week. And I was like, and Owen was like, have you heard this? He's been having 5 guys every single week. And I went, doesn't matter. I was like, just see what it looks like on stage. Like, and I could tell he was lean because you could see by someone's face. He wasn't a fat mess. I was like, he's going to be pretty good. I was like, doesn't matter. See how he looks on stage. And like, he was like, oh, I was like, no, I'm not even being like, I'm not being arrogant or anything. I'm literally just, let's see what he looks like. If he'd have won, fair play. Like I literally said, nobody cares what you do to get on stage. If you're in shape and you win, fair play. Whether you had 5 guys or not, it doesn't matter. But he was good. So he came in second. It was a pretty good battle between him and Owen. But there was a couple of shots that Owen did just like win by quite a lot. I didn't get to see the juniors because I was seeing Owen, but I know the junior guy was peeled, to be fair to him. Like really, really lean. It was this guy in the blue trunks. Like, look at his glutes. He was really good. I think they've got his name here. Yeah, Paul Rosiers. Again, I didn't properly see him, but I know like I did have a few people say like, "Fucking hell, did you see the condition that the junior was in?" So he was really good. Then we had, I don't know what the next class was. I didn't see like a lot of the women's classes, to be honest. Again, I was like checking on clients a lot of the day. This guy was really good. This physique class was quite hard to judge. The physique short. So this was the first timers physique short. So there was a few that were like, mate, there was one guy, he was absolutely humongous. I don't know where he is.
What?
In this class, it was like, oh my word, how is he a first timer? He was absolutely huge. It's him. Can you see him? On the
Oh
end,
yeah, shit.
mate,
Yeah.
he was ridiculous. Like he walked out on stage just like a massive bodybuilder. It was like, what the fuck? He couldn't really pose. If he could have posed, I think he'd have won. But he also just looked too big. He actually did. This guy won, and he was really good. To be fair, he had like the balance of everything. Could have been definitely been sharper, but he had the balance of everything. I don't
You got
know.
the same shorts that they were like my first ever shorts as well. You know,
It
the
was
black
black and
with the
white
2
ones.
white
Yeah,
stripes.
yeah. This guy won the medium again. I
I've seen
didn't
them
see
in
this.
years. I haven't seen them.
Didn't see this, but he looks pretty good. Kieran Stapes. But again, sorry to anyone who like I'm skipping over it because I didn't get to watch a lot of the show. This guy was really nice. He spoke to me backstage. He said he's a fan of like our videos and the podcast and stuff. So shout out to John. who won what did he win? First timer short? Yeah, he won the first timer short bodybuilding. So what a lot of people did was obviously they did like a first timer show and then a novice show later in the day. So he competed against George in physique. So he did the first time as bodybuilding, and then he did novice men's physique later on in the day. Again, I'm just going to go
Did
through
you see his name?
Sorry,
Did you see his name? Myo Builder. Loves those Myo rep
those
match
Maya
sets, doesn't
reps.
it?
Yeah,
As they say. Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
he built
that's
his
what he did.
physique. To
He
be fair,
just, I just do my rep.
he was good. So I might as well go on to like the overall winners. So overall bodybuilding was one Webwood. His name's Sam. So he was the guy. He won the first timers. I'm pretty sure he won the first timers tall. I'm sure he did. He beat, Tim's client Max, who was like really, really lean. But Sam was really, really lean and just a bit more complete. Then the bikini champion was this girl here, Divya Fitness. Obviously, they're all on the WNBF Instagram if people want to go and see. This guy was one of the most impressive physiques I've ever seen. I put it on my story. I was like, what the fuck? Ridiculous. Yeah, I won't go on his page, but if people want to, please feel free. Really nice, like down to earth guy as well. I spoke to him after. I was like, "How long have you been training for?" And he was like, "Yeah, I've been training like properly for maybe like I think he said I've been training 17 years, but like taking it seriously for the last 8 or something." And I was like, "And this is the first time you competed?" He was like, "No, I competed this morning in bodybuilding." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Surely you won. Surely you won
Yeah.
in bodybuilding." And he was like, "No, I came third." I was like, "What?" And then I looked and I saw a reel, and he's like, his legs weren't very like they were nowhere near as well developed as his body, and they weren't peeled. So that's why he came third. But for physique, he would literally like. I honestly think he could just go into a two bro show and he'd be challenging for a pro card. He's ridiculous. Like that shot doesn't do him justice because of the camera angle is over here. If the camera is over here, like no offense to Sam, but this guy was huge compared to Sam, like massive. Um, and then overall women's champion was Amy, who peeled, like absolutely peeled. Standard was really good. Again, for a first time a show, like the standard was ridiculous. Like, especially some classes specifically were like really good. Obviously, others there's always like the odd one that's not incredible. But yeah, Chris. So again, he seems to win every single show he does. Nice guy as well. I was chatting to him backstage. He won the Golden Era, which is like classic, but they don't have a class for classic. But really nice. And this pose is really nice. He literally won the PCA show at the weekend as well. He's won every show. I'm sure he's won every show he's done. So yeah, shout out to Chris. He's Joe Brightman's client. And then yeah, again, like I say, the overall was actually really, really interesting. It was like quite hard to call. Sam won because he was peeled. He was like the leanest. He was inside out, but he's not huge. He's not like a massive bodybuilder. He doesn't step on stage and you go, fucking hell, he's good. Like he's not a freak. But this is what I was saying to I've said this to a few clients this last week. I was like, did you see who won the WNBF? Like, did you see who won the overall? And they were like, no. I'm like, have a look. Like, he's not a freak. He's not massive. And this is like people get like they're like, oh yeah, I think he's going to turn up, or this freak's going to turn up, and I'm not going to place. I'm not going to win. Forget all that. Get in shape, and you've got a chance. Like get shredded, and you've got a chance if you've got a decent amount of muscle, which Sam obviously has. But the guy who I competed against before, I think they've got maybe they haven't. But he was in the overall. It was like between. It was a few of them. There was Sam. There was another guy, the junior. There was another can't remember which class. There was another guy that was very, very lean. And then there was I think his name is Mandu. Might be on here. I might be wrong. I don't know what his actual name is. Anyway, there was a guy that I competed against last year. He came fourth in the supernaturals in the finals. He looks like he's doubled in size since then, and he's leaner in the space of what, like 6 months, 7 months. Here he is, this guy. And I was
Must have had your Vegas rebound, mate.
yeah, he must have.
Must have done what you did in
Probably
Vegas.
probably didn't go to Vegas. That's what I should have done. But yeah, mate, like really, really nice guy. And really it's like a ridiculously good bodybuilder. I'll find it. I think he's on here. Here he is. Moundu, not Mandu. This guy. So really good. Like this was here he is, look. Like just massive. Like literally made everyone else look like they don't train. Like no offense to the other people, but he was just huge.
Yeah.
Like and I was saying to him
You beat
backstage,
you beat this
I
dude looks
know.
you
How on
know
earth? I
you
know. This
beat
is what
him.
I'm saying, mate.
Yeah.
I know. I saw him backstage and I was like, I think I've competed against him. I was like, I recognize him. I didn't speak to him. He went on stage, he came off, and I spoke to him. I was like, I recognize you. Like you competed last year. And he's like, yeah, mate. He looks like he's doubled in size, and he is leaner, but he's still. You see what I mean? He's still not peeled.
Yeah.
Like, and he was 89 kilos.
Yeah.
So I said to him, look, like I said, if you get down below 85 kilos, I was like, no one will come near you. Like he's so good. He's got
Yeah.
lovely shape. Like he's good at his posing's good. There's Conrad. Lovely shape, good posing. Just yeah, this isn't even his post. Oh yeah, it's their post together. But yeah, just a ridiculously well put together bodybuilder. Really like not that far off as well, but from the back it was
Was
noticeable,
he,
and that's why
did
uh,
when he competed against you? Was he like pretty out of shape?
this was
Like
when he competed against me.
was he a
This
good couple
was
of kilos like softer?
this was when he competed against me.
'Cause I can't even remember.
I think.
Oh yeah, he was the one with the massive arms. Yeah, I remember you popped out. This guy was in the middle originally. You were second in. I think he was in the middle, and then like I think they turned him to the ring and they were like, "All right, get over to the side, bro."
Yeah, mate,
Like
he's good. He's just
I
again,
remember that.
he was just soft through the glutes and the hams. Yeah, look, this is training, but so like he should. No disrespect to Sam, Sam deserved to win the overall, but he should be winning the overall. You know what I mean? In terms of his structure, how big
Yeah,
he is, like if he's a bit sharper, no one comes close to him in that show. It was really cool to see.
yeah.
I'm sure he's coached by KD trains this guy. He's coached by him.
KD trains, eh?
You know him? Kimmy, the guy from Ultraflex that we used to speak to.
KD trains.
Yeah, you recognise him. This guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, here he is. Up.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it
I
wasn't
haven't
like he
seen
was.
this guy in ages.
I know. Yeah, he wasn't out of shape at the Supernaturals, but he just
Yeah,
wasn't peeled. And they do obviously, mate. Most federations now. I'm not going to say favor condition, but like if let's say, if your hamstrings aren't all the way in or your glutes aren't close to being all the way in, like it does stand out when you're against other people that they are. But anyway, like if they get, I know he's doing the supernaturals at the end of the year. If they just pull off a few more kilos and get him like pretty much all the way in, he's very good. He should be taking pretty much anything he wants. So really cool. Other than that, I don't think there's much else to go over in regards to the show. The men's physique guy was the standout, to be honest, like scary. Um, and other than that, it was just a long day, but it was good. It was good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I needed to really cover. Theo, shout out to Theo, mate, ridiculous, really, really good. Josh Croggan's client, won the men's physique medium. I think he actually was probably go on.
I said he looked really, really good. Like I thought
I
at the
know,
previous shows he was like
he was all right.
close. On this
Yeah,
show,
he was decent. I know. I said
Jesus
that to
Christ,
Josh. I said that to Josh. I was like, "What have you
amazing.
done this last week?"
Yeah,
He was like, "I've just not pushed as hard." I was like, "What? Like, so you've like not filled him up as much?" He was like, "No, I've filled him up more." So I think he'd been maybe like digging into the other shows a little bit. I'm not sure. I don't know the details. But I was like, "Mate, he looks ridiculous." Like, fair play to them. They nailed it. He looked really, really, really good. Backstage, like he
yeah,
was spot on. Really, really good. You know when people are like, "Oh, he's on," and they're not. He was on. Like
yeah.
he was like, "This is
Go on.
probably the best he
What
could
was it?
look." Like, he looked great.
13. Wasn't there a
Huh?
teen that was on?
Most teams,
You were
my team
told?
was on.
Apparently there
Yeah,
was a team that was on. No,
loads of
no,
people.
you got told that another team was on. I'm
I know,
not
mate.
sure. I think you told me that someone came up to you and was like, "Team's on." No, can't remember.
Can't remember. No, don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, anyway,
Okay.
Theo was on,
No.
and I think Shannon was sat with Kez in the crowd, and Kez obviously
Yeah.
is Theo's posing coach, and I think Kez was like, I think he could take it, like he could beat the massive black guy, the some sun lifts. Um, he obviously didn't win. Theo didn't beat him, and he got his pro card. The I don't know what his name. I don't want to keep calling him some sun lifts because I don't know what his actual name is. Here's Owen. Look, there he is. Owen with his side tricep. I'm surprised he didn't use his crab because his crab pose is good. But yeah, if anyone wants to check out this guy, his name is Kwadwo Boateng, but his name on Instagram is like some
Boateng.
Some lifts. This guy. Yeah, he won his pro card, which is the first time that they've ever given out a pro card at a First Timers or Novice Show. Yeah, ridiculous. Look at that. Save that one for later. Really nice guy as well. Really, really nice guy. Right. I think that's us wrapped up, mate, for the couple of shows that we wanted to catch up on.
Cool. Right. Hope everyone's enjoyed. We're now going to be doing a PCA little review for the one that's just gone the weekend. So yeah, stay tuned for that, guys. Right. See you later. Bye bye.